Down the shore, there's a box under the sand. It's a case of catch me if you can. Make a mess of any other man, but darling, if you wanna dare, count your steps, 1, 2, 3. Make your mark on little old me. When you come to something waiting to be free, do it as fast as you can. Under the sun, right in the sand, holding me in the palm of your hand.
When I was little, I don't remember exactly how little I was, but I remember for a long time I had this opinion. I had this opinion that was actually based on something that I had been taught. Now, I can't possibly remember the source of what I had been taught, if it came from a class in school, a history class, might have been a history class in school, and I had a teacher who was religious. I don't know. I had their opinion. I don't know. Maybe it came from church. From a Sunday school teacher giving some lesson about some past event. And they had this opinion that they inserted into their lesson. And so I grew up thinking of it as a fact. The lesson, the thing that I was taught, and actually did believe for a long time, was that the pivotal reason, I don't know if pivotal is the right word, what caused the fall of the Roman Empire was homosexuality. Yes, there were so many gays running around, so much depravity, that it caused the fall of this mighty nation. Now I know a little bit more about Rome. I know that in the last days of Rome, it was run by Christians. My thought is probably before the Christians took over, the personal private lives of the Roman citizens was nobody's business but their own. But when Christianity took over Rome, basically Rome became Christian, suddenly everybody's personal life was of great interest, and the religion started meddling where it doesn't belong. I suspect it was Christianity that had something to do with the downfall of Rome. I am not a scholar of history, so I don't know, but I highly suspect it isn't anything to do with what people do in their bedchambers, but everything to do with persecution and intolerance and trying to rule with an iron hand, which is what this religion, this cult, it was a cult at the time. I still insist on calling it that because I see it as a cult. That's what it wants. That's what it does. The history shows that this cult wants absolute dominion, domination. It wants absolute control over everybody, over people, at the same time spouting about free will. That's the irony. It's like, oh, but you have free will. You know, the people in the Protestants that were being burned alive by the Catholics, I guess they didn't have so much free will, did they? What people do in their bedrooms or the privacy of their own homes, Christianity wants to take away their free will, their freedom to express their love. Anyway, I put a video up the other day about this ugly, in her spirit, in her heart, ugly woman who killed a 4-year-old child because, ew, he might grow up to be gay. Ew. I mean, that was her attitude about it, about her own child. Ew. So she kills him because he demonstrates habits or ways about him that she doesn't like. So she kills him. Little boy. I just think that there is a mentality that this religion has nourished. You know, it's like when you go to a nursery and you see somebody with one of these, you know, walking down the rows of plants, only theirs is much bigger, or maybe they have a garden hose and they're, you know, doing this to the plants. Probably has water on it now. They're nourishing the plants. They want the plants to grow, you know, and depending on where they put the plants, they want the plants to grow in a certain way or at a certain time. That's what Christianity, I feel like Christianity does in this country. Now it's like, I can't say that this woman is a Christian and therefore she killed her son, because I don't know if she's a Christian. I don't know if she's religious. But she comes from America, the whole world. Sorry. I'm barely awake. A country where this way of thinking is permitted. We permit it. We permit this kind of hate-mongering. We permit this kind of behavior. This country tolerates intolerance. It's ironic, isn't it? We must tolerate everybody. For there to be freedom of speech, we must tolerate these people that say these hideous things about other people. To be tolerant, we must tolerate the intolerant. And because we do this, the intolerant grow, and they blossom, and they spread their message. And you don't have to be a Christian to have this message impact you in a way, get inside you, you know, form your opinions. Even little children, you know, it's like smog in the air. You breathe it whether you want to or not. That's what it's like in this country. It's like this poison that you breathe whether you want to or not, and it forms how you think about things, how you think about other people. So this woman, she might not be Christian, she might not even be religious, but she somehow got this idea that homosexuality was ew. What is the greatest source of that belief? What is the greatest perpetuator? That's not the word. God, I hate it when I make videos in the morning when my brain is not awake. Promoter of that belief. What is that encourages that gay people should not be able to marry, that gay people should be stoned to death? So I think that this religion, even indirectly, causes the suffering of innocence. This religion may not have been something that she fed herself on. You know, maybe she didn't go to church, maybe she doesn't read the Bible, maybe she doesn't listen to the bullshit. But she still is a product of a nation that allows it. She's still a product of a nation that embraces the intolerant and embraces the hateful and allows them to hurt and belittle and dehumanize other people. She's a product of that because she breathes it in. We all breathe it in. And the good people in this nation choose to reject what we take in. We reject that message. We just reject it. And then there's people that have very little character at all to begin with. And they adapt it. They just adapt it. I'm not sure if this video is making sense. I kind of hope so. I'm still reeling that I called America the world. I'm sorry, but there are Americans in this country that feel that way, that feel like, you know, there's nothing else outside of this country. They have no awareness of the world and the problems on the planet. You know, that it's just us, 'cause just Americans. I've met people like that. That's why I'm kind of like, oh shit, I can't believe I said that, because I'm not one of those people. But there are people like that seem to think that, this is the only place that matters on the planet, and if it's not happening in the neighborhood or close by, if thousands of people are dying close by, it's not so bad. If that bad thing is happening in another country, oh well, that's their problem. It's, On the other hand, now I'm really deviating from my subject. On the other hand, I don't think I agree with America involving itself in other nations, as much as America does. But anyway, I totally deviated. Deviation! Oh my God, she's deviating! Is it deviation? That's the word. Anyway, I think you know what I'm trying to say when I say deviate. Okay, so that's it. I think. Now I'm stuck on trying to figure out the word that I really want to say. I digress. That's the word. Digression. I've digressed, not deviate. Digressed. I have digressed from the subject. But the subject is that it's like bad air. It's like everywhere in this country, and you are exposed to it. People are exposed to it, and it affects them. And it creates haters even outside of the religion. It creates people with little minds and little tolerance, even outside of the religion, because it's so much everywhere, this attitude. There's people out there that still, unfortunately, equate that good equals Christian. If you're a good person, you must be a Christian. So even if they're not Christians, they walk around and parrot all the things that the Christians say. Oh, homosexuality is wrong. It's an abomination. They just parrot that. They pick it up, and oh, I must be a good person. Must be a Christian because I'm a good person. I hate gays. I must be a Christian because I hate abortion. I don't think women should have the right to decide if they're pregnant or not, so I must be a good person. I must be a Christian. It's like all these things that, where did Christianity, how did it come to be that Christian was another word for good? How did that ever happen? That Christian equals good. Like, I'm a good person. I must be an atheist. I'm a good person. I must be Muslim. I'm a good person. I must be a pagan. What the fuck does anything have to do with whether or not you're a good person? You're a good person. The end. Just, that's it. You're a good person. There's no cause. You're just a good person. You're a good person. People with strong characters are able to perceive what is evil and bad in the world and reject it. People with little character, oh well, this is what the Christians do, and Christians are good, so I'm good, so I'm gonna. It's like they have no will of their own. They have no way to. Maybe some people just don't know the difference between good and evil, and they need some whatever to tell them. And unfortunately, Christianity preaches evil. It preaches evil. It spreads evil. It spreads evil as much as Muslims, as much as Islam. That's the other thing. It's so funny how Christians put their noses in the air about Islam, and yet they both are the same. They're a bunch of people that think that their religion is peaceful and loving and good. They haven't bothered to read their book. Anyway, I don't know if this video is going to go up or not. I seem to be really scatterbrained this morning, but I felt like making a video, and that's why I was saying in my thing yesterday how I blame religion for this woman who killed her child. I believe she's somebody with very little character who was, nourished on the poison that is all over the place in this country. She was raised on it. So anyway, if you've been watching, putting up with me, thanks. Bye.